We already have a playoff spot secured. The plan for today is secure automatic promotion so we don't have to go through the playoffs again. Hello and welcome to part 15 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we're going to have some football matches. We're going to have as many as it takes for us to either win automatic promotion or mess it up and end up in the playoffs. It could be 1, 2, could be as many as 4 matches. Again, I would suggest this is one of those where you don't want to look at the episode length because that's going to give you a spoiler. If we go 40 minutes, then there's a good chance we bottled it. If this is a 10-minute episode, we probably won the first game and got promoted there and then. We might do one more match if that's the case, it shouldn't be a 10-minute episode. But since you were last with me, things have been going really rather well again. Look at the state of some of these scores. I don't understand what happened against Carlton. We were spectacular either side of it, but just rubbish there. But Mick Powell has been doing a Mick Powell again. He got 4 goals in that game against Plymouth Parkway. Anthony Harris scoring goals for fun as well. But there are goals from Patrick. Patrick did score there from Powell and Harris. And the league table looks like this. Powell and Harris are the top 2 scorers in the division again. Powell on 27, Harris on 24. Harris is the best player with Powell second. And then McNally is third best, but he's left us. He's gone to Folkestone Invicta, who are in one of the teams in the tier above. I think they're paying him real money. He was our captain as well, which means we made Mick Powell our captain. Mick Powell is now club captain, age 17. And making him captain has done crazy things to his form. He became captain around about here and has just exploded. He's clearly a natural born leader. Anthony Harris, vice captain as well. And they're both playing very, very well. Seth Nana Twamasi, 9th for assists. He's only been here. How long have you been here, Seth? 20 games. He's not played much football for us. He's been absolutely outstanding. And he's now playing as our left back because we don't have one now. McNally's left. Still very upset to have lost McNally. We've got a habit of losing captains, and it's one of the reasons I made Powell captain rather than Harris, because at least then Harris sticks around for a little bit longer, because it seems to be the captains that just do the dirty on us and walk out. Other transfer-wise, there has been another significant transfer since, don't worry, we've not sold anybody else. Those of you who've got players through the Patreon can see some of you have gone out on loan as well. Henry Cheese has gone out. Jack Edinburgh's gone out. There's a few. Josh Mann's gone out. So a few of you are out on loan getting some first team experience. But signings wise, we've signed a very important player. We finally have a decent attacking midfielder. It's took us a year to replace Stephen Dunn, but we've replaced him with Diego de Girolamo. This is the first time I've had to say his name, despite the fact he's played a few games for us already. Diego de Girolamo, who's an attacking midfielder, much better than Kieran Sheridan. And he's come straight into the team. Only played 2 games, but 1 goal, 1 man of the match. He has been excellent, and I'm very excited to have him as part of this run-in. But let's get the run-in underway, because we could be playing 4 games here, and I don't want to be up all night. So we're going with Beasley in goal. Twamasi, Downing, Okoye and Johnson as our back 4. Morris as our holding midfield player. He's not actually fully natural and fully accomplished doing it anymore. How has he become less accomplished at playing a position despite doing it for 2 years? How is that a thing that's happened? Is that because we're teaching him to play centre-back at the same time? So he's now an accomplished centre-back, a competent central midfielder. When he first emerged, he could only do this. But we've turned him into a centre-back, or we're turning him into a centre-back. I wonder where Rangers are going to play him next season. Very sad. Taylor and Parkin are our midfield, and with Di Girolamo in behind, Harris and Powell. Let's get into the game. I've got to press a lot of buttons to get into the game, apparently. Where are Ossett United in the league? Let's have a little look. As soon as we've secured promotion as well, Morris won't play for us again. I want to get Phillips into the team as soon as possible to get him used to being part of our setup. We could potentially be a point away from winning the title here. There you go. We want to win the title. Winning the title will be super fun. Ossett United are in the relegation zone. This should be a game that we win comfortably. But as we know from the Carlton Town game and a couple of games against Loughborough Dynamo, sometimes we're just rubbish. We've scored, though. I don't even know who scored it. It's an own goal. Excellent. All the firepower we've got at our disposal, and we go 1-0 up through an own goal. It's a Dean Morris free kick. I mean, it's a lovely free kick. Okoye gets on the end of it, and it kind of rebounds off this guy, I think, and ends up in the back of the net. If I was Okoye, I'd be feeling a little bit hard done by that wasn't given to me. Beasley's fouled there, surely. Yes, he is. That's all right. And any time a goalkeeper falls over in the area, everyone knows the rule of goalkeepers. If they fall over, they've been fouled. And if you are a young, aspiring goalkeeper and you get yourself in a situation like that, just fall over. You always get the free kick. The goal is always disallowed. Right. Johnson now, charging down the right-hand side, plays it in field to Powell. Powell crosses to no one in particular, but it finds its way out to Twomasi, who finds Morris. Back out to Twomasi again, and he crosses towards Harris. It goes to Powell, though, and Powell gets his 39th goal of the season. We were talking just a couple of episodes ago how I didn't think anyone would ever break Anthony Harris's 40 goals in the season record. Well, Mick Powell could do it with 3 games to spare if he scores a hat-trick today. And he's scored a few hat-tricks recently. He was very, very quiet for a spell mid-season, but he is ending the season in the same electric form that he started it in. Harris is still our all-time top goal scorer, all-time record appearance holder, but if Mick Powell sticks around next season, which is a big if, because I don't know if we can afford to play him if he does, because if you remember from an episode or two ago, we have got him on a non-contract that starts at the end of this season, but we're paying him like £250 an appearance, and unless we get a bunch of money arrive, I don't know if we can justify it. That being said, if he carries on in this kind of form, I think we can probably find £250 a match. If it's guaranteeing us a hat-trick a match, and which effectively then guarantees us back-to-back promotions, surely we find the 250 quid, don't we? I think that's a conversation I need to have with the board in our little secret Twitter DM group, and decide whether we want to take the financial hit to continue playing Mick Powell, certainly for as long as he's in this kind of form for. It would have been soul-destroying paying him for those 5 or 6 matches where he was rubbish and paying him £1.50 to do it. But these matches where he's playing the way he is at the moment, how do you not want him as part of this? Right, Parkin to Morris. Morris across to Taylor. Taylor back to Morris again. We're knocking the ball around nicely. I like it very much. Johnson. He's been very dangerous from this right-hand side and almost... I mean, he hit it so hard into the side of Powell's head that he almost secured his hat-trick accidentally. Johnson with the corner now. It's Downing and it's just wide/over. I don't really know. It didn't go in the goal. And that's the significant takeaway that we've got from that. If things stay as they are, we're 9 points clear with 3 games to go, but with a 22 goal advantage on goal difference. We're all but mathematically there and should get there in the second match, which is ideal, really. I don't want to do an hour-long episode. Right, assertive. Don't get complacent. Absolutely, that's what we want. We don't want to get complacent. We want to go out there. We want Powell to break the record, I think. Do we want Mick Powell to break the record? We said it would be a record that's never broken. I don't think there'll ever be another opportunity to break it, because I don't think we're ever going to have a team. We're never going to have a selection of players as overpowered as some of these are ever again. Dean Morris, did he score? It looked like he scored, but it's scrambled away. But Morris, Harris, Powell, they're so good compared to the other players in this division. We're never going to have players that much better than the other players in the division for a long, long time. I'm talking, if we end up dominating the Champions League, we might get back to that point, but it won't happen before then. Parkin's coming off for Phillips. Give him a little bit of game time in central midfield. In fact, forget that. Let's bring him on as well. Do a triple. And no, that's not the triple I wanted to do. I wanted to bring him on for him. Just take Morris off. There's no reason for Morris to still be on the pitch at this point. We're 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go, and we need to be preparing for life without Morris. So let's get Phillips playing as meant. He's disinterested. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You're trying to secure a spot in the team for next season, Shane, and you're disinterested. Just look at what your predecessor did. He earned himself a move to Rangers. Play as well as he did for a year and a half, and you'll be at Rangers too. And you'll be his understudy again. That's got to be what you're aiming for in life, surely. This has been a very, very uneventful second half. All that's really happened is Ossett United have endeavoured to try and get every player in their team booked, and they're not quite there yet. But Johnson, ball over the top to Powell. Powell brings it down beautifully. Seth Patrick is in the middle. but he plays it all the way back to Phillips, and Phillips gives it straight back to him. Powell is in and very close to breaking the record and grabbing his hat-trick as well, all in one fell swoop. But he didn't. And what was that attempt at a tackle there? I don't even know who that was, but it was pathetic. He just sat down while the guys stood there looking at him. What are you doing? Why are you on the floor? Do we get to see it again? Outstanding. Who is that? Taylor. I'm glad he's only on loan, because that was absolutely nonsensical. Right. Hopefully this isn't the start of a comeback from us at United. It shouldn't be. I don't know who Sheffield are playing. It would have been nice for Sheffield and Loughborough to both lose. So, in fact, I think Sheffield and Loughborough are playing each other. If I remember from the little run-in thing that I put on Twitter earlier on today, I'm pretty sure Sheffield and Loughborough Dynamo are playing each other, and then we play Sheffield next. I think, if that's right. So they must be drawing with each other because they were level on points before the match. So that's the perfect result for us. If they draw with each other, and if we now then go and get a draw against Sheffield, a draw or better against Sheffield, then we win the title. Second half performance was disappointing after the first half, which was excellent. But let's just double check. I think Sheffield and Loughborough just played each other. And the only way either of them were going to catch us is by winning that game and then going on a run. Really, it needed to be Sheffield. Sheffield had it all in their hands. If they'd have beaten Loughborough and then beaten us, all of a sudden it becomes much tighter. Where are we? Yeah, Loughborough and Sheffield drawing with each other, which means we are... Oh, we've won the league! Kev can't do maths. We're 11 points clear. We've only won the blooming league. We'd won that like halfway through the match, hadn't we? You all noticed and I didn't, because I thought 74 minus 63 was 9. Now I realise it's 11. And at least I worked it out before I got the notification. We have one promotion. We'll have a look at those budgets in a second. Home was certainly... look at some of these results. 8-6, 7-1, 5-1, 5-0. We've scored some goals this season, but we have clinched the title. I think we'll probably play one more game, just so we have a second game. We've got to say goodbye to Dean Morris. We'll call it the Dean Morris testimonial. Mick Powell's staying forever. Can we offer real contracts to players now? £4,000 a week. Where are we getting £4,000 a week from? Now I'm a little bit... I can't offer new contracts to this until their existing contracts start. So... as soon as May comes round, we try and tie down Powell and Harris and Phillips and a few of these other players, but primarily Powell, Harris and Phillips. We try and tie them down to actual paid contracts on salaries, because then when they leave, we get a fee. Oh, that is spectacular. Thank you, board. Oh, this is going to be exciting. Right. Oh, my word. Likely talking points. All that stuff. That Mick Powell. That's a lot of likely talking points. Right. I'm going to go and just run around the garden with my shirt off, screaming and celebrating that transfer budget, that wage budget. And then we'll be back. We'll do the Sheffield game. We'll do the next game and then call it a day on the season. I changed my mind. I decided it made more sense to show you the last game of the season. So kind of wish I had shown you us beating Sheffield 6-2. That was a bit spectacular considering they were second in the league at the time. We then had a weird defeat against Pontefract Collieries. It's just another weird one, like Carlton Town, like Loughborough Dynamo, like Marsk United, who we play now. It seems every now and again we just have a weird off day where we lose 1-0, and hopefully we've got it out of our system there. Marsk United are now the team that are in second place in the league. The playoffs are already decided. It's Marsk United, Sheffield, Loughborough Dynamo and Carlton. So 3 of the teams that have beaten us over the course of the season, and Sheffield we thumped. But it's I guess they're going to have the incentive to try and finish top. Although, as we found last season, it makes no difference what order you finish in for the playoffs. It's just a random pile of nonsense anyway. So really, this is all about record setting for these two gentlemen. And we're just a few days away from their proper big boy contracts starting, and hopefully they'll immediately be in the mood to be tied down to proper contracts. But if my experience of Football Manager tells me anything, it's that because they've just signed a new contract, they're not going to want to discuss something for a while. So I think that's going to be an ongoing thing. So this is our team for the final day of the season. It's very familiar, other than the fact that we do have a debut for Lerick Fernandez, who, for those of you wondering who he is and where he came from, I did mention his name would probably change. So this is one of our Patreon backers who's had his player renamed after himself. From now on, that's who he is, Lerick Fernandez. But he was the best player to come through the youth team this summer, or this spring. 1.5-star current ability, 5-star potential, central midfielder. We want to have a proper look at him because he's got the potential to be really rather good. So he comes into the midfield. We're also playing Sheridan today, mainly as a cost-saving exercise, because Sheridan earns... What does he earn? Oh, he's on a £5 per week contract, so we're paying him anyway. Whereas Digirelamano, he gets paid £130 for an appearance. Well, I guess we'll still have to pay that if he comes off the bench, so it doesn't actually make a lot of difference. He gets £6 if he just sits on the bench. So, unless we really need him, he's staying on the bench, so we can save £124. Let's get into the game. We want goals from Harris and Powell. We want them to... I'd love to see Harris get 4 and finish above 30 goals again. The recent form standings have them second while we're first. Let's show them why. Forget that. Let's avenge what happened last time, because we don't want to be going up with a sour taste in the mouth knowing that this team had our number. It's bad enough that Loughborough Dynamo have got our number and have beaten us twice this season. We don't want Mask to also be in that situation, because the playoffs, they confuse me so much. I guess potentially Carlton and Loughborough, all 4 of these teams could potentially come up with us if they win the playoffs, because the playoffs are a 35 team mess or something ridiculous. It started off with 16 teams, 8 got knocked out, but then went back up to 20 teams. So what's that? That's like nearly 30 teams in it. It's a very confusing mess. 8 finals. There's going to be lots of teams getting promoted, and they could all be from this league. This might be the best league. I hope this is the best league, because that bodes well for us when we get stuck into the league above next season. We're 1-0 down, which I'm pretending hasn't happened, although we're about to go 2-0 down, and now we need to sort our lives out. Right, show some passion. Come on, lads. I know you're already on vacation, but this is not acceptable. 2-0 down at home. We've got a massive crowd in today. We sold over 400 tickets for this match. Presumably this is a match where we're getting presented with the championship title thing. We get a trophy to wave around after the game, I guess. So most of the population of home has come out to cheer us on, and we've been pathetic in that first half. Just rubbish. We've had 1 shot on target in an entire half of football. Right, aggression. Sort yourselves out, you silly bears, or substitutions will be happening. And I'll even take off the big important guys. We do need to take Dean Morris off towards the end of the game. He needs a standing ovation. This is obviously Dean Morris's final appearance for now. You never know. We might get up to the championship within the next 10 or 15 seasons and be able to bring him back on loan right at the end of his career, or on a free transfer when he's in his 30s. But it's the last teenage Dean Morris you'll ever see. Anthony Harris has got one back for us. Good. Right, let's demand more. Okay, we can't demand more. We'll have a look at this from the other angle then. What has been good about this run-in, which I've not really mentioned, is the fact that this is starting to happen a bit more. I know that wasn't particularly fluent, but Powell and Harris are slowly starting to form a partnership. It's taken them a year, and they've still scored 70 goals between them this season on the way to forming it. But they are a partnership now, and I really hope we can keep them together next year, because they're both good enough to be with us through another 2 or 3 promotions at least yet. I would expect, if we can keep hold of them, they'll both still be playing for us into League 2. But it's a big if, whether we can keep hold of them all that time or not, because obviously if they are that good, then a League 2 team will come in for them at some point. But fingers crossed. It all comes down to what contracts we can offer them in a week or so's time, or whether we can offer them anything at all. There you go. I'm making the change. Let's spend the money. Fernandez hasn't had the best of games, so I'm not going to... The only player... Oh, no, I could bring Reece Weeks on for him. I'll do that. And then we're saving our final substitution to be Shane Phillips on for Dean Morris, so that he can get his standing ovation as we say, thank you, Dean. And I want a chorus of thank you, Deans, down in the comments. I know we're going to miss him, but He's been an absolute superstar for us. And I'm very proud that we've got a player going off to play for Rangers, because that's insane. Have we got a penalty? We have. And it's not Mick Powell who's taking it. What's that all about? Our right back is taking the penalty, apparently, and he scores it. Excellent stuff. Right, it's 2-2. I want Morris to have the opportunity to score a free kick, but I don't know that he's going to get one. We've got to take him off before the end of the game. Sentimentality is very important. Here's Powell. He's clear. He's fouled. And surely that guy's getting sent off. And this might be Dean Morris's opportunity to stick a free kick. It's a little bit too far out and a little bit too far on the right. But we don't. Oh, we do get it. Here we go. Dean Morris. Oh, the keeper should have just let that in. That would have been the perfect way to say goodbye to a proper hero of the save. But we are going to take him off now. Standing ovation. Thank you, Dean. It's been awesome. There we go. Dean Morris is done, everybody. And Phillips is on. Phillips has got to become our new hero there very quickly. He needs to make that position his own. He's another one who has a contract for next year. He needs to show why he should have been playing for the last 2 years ahead of Morris. Wouldn't it be good if he did a Mick Powell over the summer and it turned out he was the best defensive midfielder we had all along? I think it's fairly unlikely, but it would be awesome. Right, let's try and grab a late winner. Big ball over the top. Neither Harris or Powell seem interested in chasing it. I think they're both ready for summer. Presumably they're getting their A-level results this summer as well. So they've probably got that on their minds. They've probably sat an A-level exam yesterday. Powell is clear. Powell hits it over from just on the edge of the area. We certainly came back to life in the second half. But, not calm down. I was trying to get creative. I've now calmed them down. Oh, calm down, lads. You've been attacking. Let's not get carried away. And Mask are going to score right at the end. They've fallen down to 5th from 2nd because we've held them to a draw. Do we not get to dance around with a trophy? That feels a little bit harsh. Well, that was a good comeback though. Good work, lads. Let's let the curtain come down on the season. And then I guess I've got to figure out what I'm going to do next. I still don't know if transfer specials are a good idea at this level because there's going to be so many comings and goings and it won't necessarily just be over the summer. But I guess we at least need a season review, which will be the next episode, which will be Sunday. There'll be a season review and it might end up becoming a transfer special as well, depending on how the summer goes. I'll judge it within a few weeks of the pre-season starting. If it looks like we're tying players down to proper contracts and building our first proper squad, then we'll absolutely do that as a non-League to Legend style transfer special. Otherwise, just keep an eye on the Holme FC Twitter over the next couple of days and transfers will start to appear on there so that you can get a nice little sneak preview of what's going to be coming. And obviously that'll be the first place that you can find out about contracts for Harris and Powell if we manage to get them tied down. But for now, we won the league, everybody. Presumably we go up to the Northern Premier League now, but the way we've got the likes of Plymouth and Eastbourne in the Premier League, Northern Premier League Division 1 East, we could be going up to any Tier 7 league. Nobody knows. We'll see where we are next season, and I'm excited for it. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.